I don't know about you, but I have always loved the idea of having a conversation with a working actor about their process.
We are starting a series called Conversations on Acting, and some of the actors who've agreed to talk to us are Chris Carmack, Mark Ruffalo, Margot Martindale, Sean Astin, and more.
Conversations on Acting is a live conversation with working actors, allowing you to ask them questions.
And the way you can participate in these conversations is by signing up for our monthly subscription on our website, idon'tneedanactingclass.com.
This is Milton Justice, and you're listening to my podcast, I Don't Need an Acting Class. I wanted to throw out this revolutionary idea, which is a brief topic called more is more. And I know that there's this popular belief that less is more, and I totally disagree with this. And it's kind of come up recently. Periodically, there are those of you, and I invite all of you to do it, who will put a little monologue on video and send it to me. Walker and Greg have made an art form out of it. Greg sent me 2 yesterday, and then I said, call me, we need to work. And then I gave him an assignment, which I invite all of you to do. And I just said, build I Love the Theater. And here's when I realized more is more. When I started talking about it last week, about everything is important. And I think one of the ways that we help everything be important is if we continue to build more. In other words, Greg started with, I love the theater from the moment I walk into the box office. And then he moved into the theater itself. My thought to him was build the box office. Talk about the box office. Build the box office visually, build it from an experience, build it from just the whole feeling you get from it. And then the box office becomes something. And I think that's kind of what we're trying to do. He then went on to build being in a winter coat with a ticket in his pocket. And this again is this is a place you can go to keep building. And you'll get better at it, I promise. It's not necessarily something that you will automatically do. Greg asked me to give an example of how to do it. And so I started talking about having a winter coat and the difficulty of winter and getting to the theater in the winter. It's like a winter coat sort of gave me a starting point where I could just keep going. And I think maybe that's, I think we need to figure out to invent some exercises where we just take one thing and keep building on it, and so that we get the experience of it. And that's why I say more is more. All we're looking for all the time are where are opportunities that I have in the course of my work so that in talking it out, I begin to fill myself up. That's the reason we talk it out. We talk it out to fill ourselves up. And as soon as you start emptying out, and that's when you know a choice isn't working. As soon as you find yourself kind of like, I don't know, throwing it away, or you find the energy zapped out of you or something, then it's not working. So, I mean, you can practically do a monologue of the box office at a theater. You build it from the sense of the anticipation. You build it from the sense of, I get tickets through TDF, and so I never know what the tickets are going to be. And I don't know if I'm going to be in the balcony or if I'm going to be in the orchestra. I stand in the box office and I look around and there are posters from other plays. And I think to myself, my God, Christopher Plummer did Long Day's Journey into Night at this theater. And just standing in the box office gives you this, but you see what I mean? It's like you start talking about it, and then all of a sudden you mention the box office, but it is something. And you can really do that with anything. I swear to you, you can do it with the box office. You can do it with sitting in the seats in a theater. I got so upset building the winter coat. It was like I had nightmares about people sitting on the aisle, having my winter coat underneath my chair, and then people crossing over me because they are in the center and they come late. I don't know why people who sit in the center of the orchestra things always come late. I had nightmares about it. So, but that's and it's all this possibility. You build the possibility the same way that you build, I don't know, the galaxy far, far away. You build everything that way. If you're doing Star Wars, you're building the galaxy far, far away where the Klingons are. I just mixed up two different science fiction movies, but at any rate. In fact, why didn't the Klingons go to Star Wars? Anyway, but that's it. You build it up and you start talking about it and you get the experience of it. And that's the reason I say more is more. The more you talk about it, the more it brings you to life. And that's what you want with everything. And then the other thing is making everything important. And that really is, man, that's where we really have difficulty. I keep coming back to it, and I keep finding that the most consistent problem that we seem to be having is we have a tendency, and I have a feeling it may come from we keep thinking we have to build a plot. We keep thinking that we're the writer, not the actor. We keep thinking that if I go to a bar, I have to walk down the street to get there. And so it's like we have this throwaway line. So I was walking down the street on my way to the bar. And you see what I mean? And as soon as I do that, as soon as I throw it away, then first of all, I wasn't walking down the street to the bar. So I lied to begin with. So now I've started my work with a lie. So then I have to switch gears in order to try to get to the truth. But also, if I keep with the idea of more is more, walking down the street can give me something. If I talk it out, walking down the street can give me something that helps bring me to life. My choices are there to bring me to life. And so that's the reason they get exciting, is they bring me to life. And suddenly walking down the street to go to this bar becomes, if in the hands of the right actor, become this phenomenal experience. We used to say there are actors that could make the phone book sound interesting. When I first became aware of Vanessa Redgrave, I was absolutely convinced she could make the phone books sound interesting, and I could hear her talking about A1 autos. I mean, it's just like you get the idea that in the hands of the right actors, anything sounds fascinating. Walking down the street sounds like something of, my God, if I don't walk down the street, I don't know what I'm going to do. I have to go there. I have to go to Christopher Street. I've got to go walk down this street because the actor brought it to life in such a huge way that I thought, if I don't go walk down that street, I cannot go another day in my life. So the more that we do this, the more that you take totally insignificant things, just as a test for yourself, and make it fascinating. And then that becomes your habit. And that's really what you want. You want that my habit is to make absolutely every word fascinating. Everything I talk about fascinating. And we can. We can. And then if we start doing that, then it moves into all of our other work. Nothing is dead, which is why you have to be so careful with the questions you ask yourself. You have to be fascinated with the questions you ask. I mean, everything about acting is alive. If I say it's like the play takes place in Norway, I can make a choice. Norway is either the worst place I've ever been or the best place I've ever been. It's like the more you build it, the more you talk it out, the more you take an absolutely banal piece of nothing and make it something. And you can make it something fabulous, you can make it something awful. It's whatever you want. And then eventually, I mean, the joy of having a play is that the play tells you what you want. So you're not wandering around aimlessly the way we often are. What is interesting? I think eventually this comes down to the actor, the artist, the person. I think part of your talent comes from what you think is interesting. And what's interesting, I think at the end of the day, is what you find interesting. It's like if you say to yourself, oh my God, I love that, then you got to trust it. I think that's it. Somebody may come along and turn the dial on it or explain to you why it isn't. But I think when you say, I love it, then that is your talent. And, you know, if you don't have talent, there's really nothing we can do about it. You know, that's between you and God. Take it up with her. But it's just like I think in this long list of things where it's your talent is part of it. My talent is in my choices. My talent is in all of those sort of things. And we've added now, my talent is in the questions I ask my character. And I also think the other thing is that the demand you make on your investment in it, the demand you make on what it is you experience is also part of what your talent is. If you will start slowly and take on board, I can believe this much today, but really believe it and build on it. And that's what you have to do. You have to know going into it, this isn't enough. This is my first rehearsal. But this is what I can do today. And continually asking yourself the question, is that enough? Or can I do more? Or is there something else I can add to that? I have a theater ticket in my pocket. Can I add more to that? I have to know that there's a difference between if I have a theater ticket and I'm going to see Laurie Metcalf in Death of a Salesman, or I'm going to go see Hamilton. That specific thing is going to give me something. And it's because I asked the question, can I bring more to it? Can I do more? Same thing with a winter coat. I'm wearing a winter coat. And so I can build a little bit more. Right now, all I have is that it's a winter coat. I'm going to go back to the box office. I hate the winter coat. But so all I have at the moment is that I'm standing in the box office. And then I ask myself, can I go deeper? Can I find something that brings me to life more? Suddenly, the box office becomes the most magical moment, because it starts what is going to be an experience in the theater. And as I sit there and I look and I see all these people and they're all picking up tickets, and I don't know about the rest of you, but I never trust the tickets are going to be there. It's like I did it online, or it's a TDF, or it's a $25 faculty ticket, and so I just keep thinking they're going to say, "I'm sorry, we don't have your ticket." And so it's the excitement that they have your ticket. So the more I build, the more I build, the more I build. So then what happens is, when I say, on the way to the play, I had to pick up my ticket in the box office. Then I have a box office. And I have an experience connected to it. I can make a choice that it's funny. I can make a choice that it's annoying. I can make any choice, but it's going to add to it. And it is going to take, and then I went to my seat and turn it into something. We are after moments, so that nothing sounds pedestrian. Nothing sounds like my famous grocery list. Every single thing has a life to it. And I'm telling you something, in life we do it all the time. In life we do it all the time. If you're going to tell me a story about going to the subway, well, you wouldn't do it now, but if you were going to tell me a story about going to the subway, you would not say to me, well, I walked down to the street and then I got on at 175th and I took the elevator down. It's like, and I got on the subway. You would never do that. And so that's the thing. In life, it is a normal thing for us to make things exciting. And so now we're heightening it because it's a play. We're heightening it because I'm in Elsinore. And my uncle killed my father and married my mother. Well, so it gives me slightly more to play with. But all of this is the reason I say more is more.
Hi, everybody. It's Walker Vreeland. I'm the producer of I Don't Need an Acting Class with Milton Justice. Director of online media is Evan Solers, and music is provided by David DeJuice. If you have a question or comment you'd like Milton to address on an upcoming episode, email us at questionsformilton@gmail.com. Again, that's questionsformilton@gmail.com. And if you like the podcast, please subscribe and leave a review. Thanks so much for listening.